How would you describe him, working with him versus personally, knowing him on a personal basis?
It's interesting you would ask that, because when I worked for Johnny, we would see each other socially maybe 2, 3, 4 times a year at functions or parties. But I never felt that we were friends, nor did I want to be friends. Again, carry over from the Godfrey days. Don't become friends, just keep a business relationship. But after Johnny retired, we became very close friends. And he was a completely different guy. Johnny was always, when he was working, shy, reserved, introverted guy. After he retired, he became a much warmer, relaxed, really a different guy. So that's when we had our close friendship until the day he died.
And so, I mean, Johnny being, the Johnny that we all know, coming out on stage every night, we would not think of him as someone who was
Johnny
that
was
way.
as shy a person as you'll ever meet. Wife number 3 made the mistake of wanting to be very active socially and would drag Johnny to these parties in Hollywood. And he hated every moment of it, and would sit in a corner and just not talk to anybody because he just wasn't comfortable. And I think that was one of the problems why that marriage didn't last, because he couldn't stand all this social activity. It just made him miserable.
But when he was out on stage, what do you think it was? What did you see in him, in his talent, that when he got out there, he was so different?
Well, I can tell you a very scary experience I had. I think it was the first week of my working for Johnny. And after the show, he asked me to come up to his office. And we had drinks. And he got drunk, which he could do very quickly and easily. And he started to pour his heart out that he didn't deserve the job he had, and that he wasn't worthy. And it was really disturbing to me, because he showed all his insecurities and poured them out. And I thought, wow, this is going to be a rough trip. But that was the only time, all those years, where he just lost control completely and revealed what his fears were. But when he had too many drinks, he could get out of control rather quickly.
Did Johnny like to banter with a guest beforehand, or did he prefer to?
No, absolutely not. Johnny would never talk to the guests beforehand, because he felt it would ruin the relationship. He would stick his head in the door and say hello, but that would be the extent of his meeting with a guest. Mm-hmm. And I think all the hosts do it that way. They're too smart to start conversations that they would continue on the air.
What do you think was the secret to the success, as far as you having such a long relationship with him on The Tonight Show?
he was really unusual in the fact that for being a big television star, he didn't live in his own private little world. By that I mean he was well read. We would discuss politics every day. We would discuss books, magazines. He was completely well-rounded. It wasn't all show business for him. And I think that was one of his rare talents, in that he was not living in his own little show business world. Arthur Godfrey, for example, we did a TV special in India, and he was interviewing Nehru. And during the interview, Nehru said, well, when Gandhi died, the following things happened. And Arthur said, Gandhi dead? He had no idea that a world personality had died, because he lived completely in his own little Arthur Godfrey world. Johnny was the opposite of that. And I think he had a great sense of humor. He was a good listener. And again had quality like Godfrey in that he could be as far as the viewer was concerned, it could be their boyfriend, it could be their father. He was every man. So women liked him, men liked him. He just wasn't a threat to anyone, and that's a very important quality.